The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally.
Utter disaster, as they just straight up admitted they were giving incorrect and false information, and Elon Musk was taunting the American people.
So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct? So
picture this. It's a sunny day in D.C., and the Oval Office is buzzing with anticipation. In walks Donald Trump, his hair defying gravity as usual, followed by Elon Musk, looking like he just rolled out of a PayPal server room. What happens next is a comedy of errors that'd make even SNL writers blush. From alternative facts to judge bashing, this dynamic duo puts on a show that'll have you laughing until you realize they're serious. This has always blown my mind a little bit. 91% that watch this show regularly haven't subscribed. Could I ask you for a small favor before we start? If you like this show, what we do here, and want to support us, the free simple way you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. Well folks, just when you thought the circus couldn't get any wilder, Trump and Musk decided to team up for a press conference that'll go down in history as the two stooges take the White House special. Picture this: the Oval Office, that sacred space where presidents have made world-changing decisions, suddenly turned into a comedy club for the tech-obsessed and the politically confused. There they were, the orange turd and his new bestie, the Rocket Man, ready to dazzle us with their combined, wisdom. As soon as Musk opened his mouth, it was like watching a kid who just discovered a thesaurus trying to impress his teacher. He started spouting facts that sounded like they came from a fortune cookie factory on Mars. And Trump? Oh, he was nodding along like one of those bobblehead dolls you see on car dashboards. You could almost see the hamburgers dancing in his eyes as Musk rambled on. It was a match made in Twitter heaven, or should we say X-heaven now. But here's the kicker. While these two were having the time of their lives, the rest of America was collectively reaching for the remote. A recent poll showed that 87% of Americans would rather watch paint dry than listen to this dynamic duo. And honestly, can you blame them?
As we said on the Midas Touch account, Musk is getting what he paid for. The voters are getting absolutely screwed, while standing next to Donald Trump saying, this is what you voted for, this is what you got. This absolutely isn't what the American people voted for.
The people voted for major government reform, and that's what people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for.
Utter disaster, as they just straight up admitted they were giving incorrect and false information, and Elon Musk was taunting the American people.
and this is big numbers. Talking about $100 to $200 billion a year. Sure. Serious money.
Watching paint dry at least has a satisfying end result. The real gem of the evening came when Musk, in all his infinite wisdom, decided to discuss, wait for it, condoms in Gaza. Yes, you heard that right. Because apparently when you're dealing with complex geopolitical issues, what you really need is a billionaire's hot take on contraceptives. You could almost hear the collective facepalm of diplomats worldwide. As Musk droned on about his brilliant ideas to solve world problems with rockets and tunnels, Trump kept interjecting with his favorite words: tremendous, huge, and like nothing you've ever seen before. It was like watching a tennis match, but instead of a ball, they were batting around increasingly ridiculous ideas. The whole spectacle proved one thing: when you put two loose cannons in a room, you don't get a government. You get a three-ring circus minus the talent. It's like they're playing a game of who can say the most outrageous thing. And let me tell you, they're both winning or losing. It's hard to tell at this point. Well folks, just when you thought our dynamic duo couldn't get any more bonkers, they decided to play Extreme Makeover Government Edition. Donnie and Elon, the self-proclaimed saviors of bureaucracy, have cooked up a plan to streamline the government. And by streamline, I mean bulldoze. It's like they're trying to renovate the White House with a sledgehammer and a bottle of Trump vodka. So what's their brilliant plan? According to the orange turd and his tech bro buddy, they've discovered shocking instances of fraud and waste across the federal government.
Donald Trump there looking thrilled as President Musk gets most of the questions from the press today while he sits there.
After fact-check this, apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV.
The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. Well, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000.
Gasp! Who would have thought? It's not like we've been hearing about government inefficiency since, oh, I don't know, the dawn of time. But fear not, citizens. Our heroic duo is here to save the day with their Department of Government Efficiency. Sounds legit, right? Their grand scheme involves downsizing the federal workforce faster than Trump's hair disappears in a strong wind. We're talking about large-scale reductions in force, eliminating or combining agency components. It's like they're playing Jenga with the government, but instead of wooden blocks, they're using people's livelihoods. But wait, there's more. Musk and Trump have set their sights on the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. You know, that pesky little agency that protects consumers from unfair financial practices. Well, apparently it's cramping their style. Who needs protection from overdraft fees and credit card late fees anyway? That's just the price of freedom, am I right? Now, some party poopers are raising alarms about the potential consequences of these cuts. They're whining about things like lack of accountability and transparency in governance. Pfft, who needs those when you have Musk's Twitter polls to guide the nation?
American people, I suppose, thought they were getting lower prices despite our warnings that Donald Trump is an absolute con artist and fraudster, but nonetheless, this is where we're at.
So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct? So
And a lot of times that, people that don't get what they voted for. But in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes.
Civil service workers and activists are in a tizzy, creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. It's almost as if people don't appreciate the thrill of not knowing whether they'll have a job tomorrow. Come on, folks, where's your sense of adventure? But here's the kicker. Historically, attempts to drastically cut federal agencies have often led to negative outcomes. Reduced public services, increased operational inefficiencies, you name it. It's almost as if running a government is more complicated than posting memes on Twitter or slapping your name on buildings. Who would have thunk it? Well, folks, it looks like our dynamic duo of disaster isn't just content with messing up the White House carpets. They're gunning for the whole dang government. But fear not, there's still hope for us mere mortals. Instead of sitting back and watching the Trumpster and his tech bro buddy turn Washington into a dumpster fire, why not get off your couch and do something about it? You don't need a rocket scientist or a failed casino owner to tell you how to make a difference. Start small. Hit up those town hall meetings, even if they're as exciting as watching paint dry. Cast your vote in local elections like your Netflix subscription depends on it. And if you're feeling extra spicy, join up with some advocacy groups. They're always looking for fresh meat to help keep Uncle Sam's services running smoothly. Remember, just because Grumpy Trumpy and his sidekick Muskie think they can rewrite the rules doesn't mean we have to play along. So let's show these wannabe government reformers that we're not just here for the memes. We're here to keep democracy kicking.